According to a thread on r/AskSingapore, these are the list of reasons not to vote for the incumbent. In part 1, I got a little distracted and took too long to look at hawker policy and rentals. Well, I'm going to try not to do that this time and stick to the articles referenced by Reddit, continuing on with these articles that has a similar theme of out of touch. As with the last video, this is not a video essay. It's kind of me just reading articles as I find them in order to understand more about the topic. A research diary of sorts. Think of me as just a scat boy afraid of my future in Singapore, using Reddit as a starting point for research. So the first is an article by The Independent Singapore, not the British one, with an article titled "Observers Recall Koh Poh Koon's Comments About Owning 2 Cars Amid Clash with WP Over Minimum Wage." So these comments was made back in 2013 when Koh made his political debut in Punggol East SMC by-elections. For context, in 2011, Michael Palmer from PAP won 54.5% of the votes, was elected to Speaker of the House, and then resigned in December 2012 due to an extramarital affair. Where have I heard that before? Well, a 2013 by-election was held, and Koh was fielded as a candidate despite only joining the PAP 3 weeks ago. He described himself as a son of Punggol and told his family background of how his father was a bus driver for his family of 7 and how when he and his wife bought their first HDB flat, which is a 5-room in Telok Blangah, they only had $11.50 left in their bank accounts. And later when interviewed about his assets,
netizens online are also asking, okay, you say you live in a 5-room HDB flat and things like that, but do you own other assets?
I don't own any private property.
And I mean the car you drive and stuff,
Well, everybody has a car.
How many cars do your family?
I have 2. My wife drives 1, I drive 1. We're both professionals. We need to travel.
So in context, Koh talking about his beginnings is really talking about how Singapore's system can work for people like him, going from kampong boy to surgeon with a 5-room HDB flat and 2 cars. The comment, "everybody has a car," sounds out of touch without context. But he was replying to a reporter's question of what assets they own, as in, everybody in my family has a car. And well, I don't think most people need 2 cars in high-density Singapore, but who knows what is their schedule. If Koh simply wants to tell his success story, I actually find nothing wrong with that. Though I also think most people wouldn't buy a 5-room if it results in only $11.50 in the bank account. It's a bit of a gamble on property prices. Well, the second part of the article Reddit linked is a debate on minimum wage. That one is pretty long and is going to be a rabbit hole without a conclusion on what's the right policy. But if we really want to just talk about out of touch, I think a better example is an exchange between Pritam Singh and Koh on NTUC's conflict of interest. The full exchanges are online, so we can also look at that in full context. Pause if you want to read, but in short, the Workers' Party in this debate were trying to bring up the point of independence of the unions and government. But for some reason, Koh decided to ask why the Workers' Party is called the Workers' Party, accusing them of not being for unions, which completely misses the point. So Pritam Singh tries to clarify again that they are for unions and that Koh's statement ignores the 60 years of change of the political parties. And finally, reiterating that they are bringing up the point of independence of the unions as they are concerned with conflicts of interest. Singh brings up the example of NTUC and asks Koh to name an example of where an NTUC Secretary General or a Deputy Secretary General has spoken out against a 3G or 4G leader to defend the rights of workers. He then further points out the example of NTUC delegates saying Majulah PAP, which is apparently a real thing. If you look at a PAP Awards and Convention booklet, page 4 says Majulah NTUC, Majulah PAP, Majulah Singapura. One more recent example by Petir, a PAP publication, here it reads, "All 3,000 activists cheering for our party's 70th anniversary cake cutting ceremony and standing up for the party cheer, Majulah NTUC, Majulah PAP, Majulah Singapura." Going back to the parliament session, Koh ignored Singh's question, once again sidestepping the Workers' Party's main concern of conflict of interest. And I think I have enough of Koh for now. The next one, I think it's pretty straightforward, since another Reddit thread compiled this for us.
He's illiterate.
No, sorry, Speaker, sir, I still want
Mr.
to
Leong,
respond. Yeah.
Mr. Yusof,
Okay, thank you.
How do you get to RI? Must have been a lousy school and promotion.
If you can't hear it, the voices picked out said, he's illiterate. And then, seriously, how did he get into RI? Must have been a lousy school. By the way, Balakrishnan was 60 years old back then. I don't think there's any defending this, only that there is damage control by apologizing. And another straightforward case. These two had an affair, and the article also reminded us of the time TCJ was heard muttering "fucking populist" on the microphone. Here's an Instagram post of that moment.
yes. Yes. Yes.
So these two did resign, but still, as a regular voter, the thought now constantly at the back of my head is, what else are they saying in private that wasn't caught? I mean, the debate was 17th of April 2023, and TCJ's comments was only caught and uploaded 10th of July 2023. This Rise Media article is probably the best in recapping the events, and here they talk about the bad optics, considering that the private comment was said in response to Associate Professor Lim's call to help the poor in Singapore. And in the same parliamentary sitting, DPM Lawrence Wong called on the opposition to offer serious alternative ideas, not deliver populist agenda. Well, there's no real indication that populist is a negative word, but it's certainly being used that way for some reason. And the next one, Marshall News post. 96% of respondents disagree with PM Wong saying that people in Singapore want to work longer. I mean, does this even need contesting? Let's look at what Wong said in context. Wong was asked whether the Silver Support Package, which provides lower-income senior citizens with a quarterly cash payout, could be more universal to avoid a substantial drop in income when these people stop working. In Wong's reply, he said, "There's obviously a limit to how long we can work, but also we must recognize with rising longevity, with people living longer lifespans, when we do our surveys, the majority of people do want to work longer so long as they are healthy. Because a lot of people recognize that the minute they stop working, that's when their health deteriorates very quickly. Work is more than a source of income and provides dignity and purpose," he added. There is something fundamental and important about work. By far the biggest question I have is this internal survey Wong mentioned. I wanted to defend this using context, but if someone doesn't understand that most people work because they need money to survive, or that people can very easily find meaning with hobbies, or even just spending more time with family, I just don't really know what to say. It's somehow even worse with context since we are talking about low-income senior citizens.